was already quite suspicious of this box when it showed up at my doorstep. But curiosity got the best of me, and I couldn't beat the temptation to discover the mystery enclosed within it. And I was not very pleasantly surprised. I remember placing my order for a Blob Universe kit, but looks like the blobs there weren't happy with what I had to pay. So I'm guessing they sent my order requests to the adjacent Bloob universe, and now I have to find a way to sneak into the Blob universe by making my own blobs. I mean, bloobs. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the shrinkflation version of the Blob Universe kit. Now, before we proceed any further, I hope you've read the disclaimer already. I do not own the concept of the Blob Universe, and it is all completely Moriah Elizabeth's, as you already know, precisely why you would be interested in watching this video in the first place. I just wanted to take part in this ongoing trend of trying out the Blob Universe kit and just wanted to create my own little creatures, which technically I can't really call them blobs, so I thought I'd go with an alternate version of them and call them bloobs. They may look similar, so maybe they can get an entry into the Blob Universe. Now, let's begin with some warnings. Warnings for the kids who might want to try this at some point. Please do not use the sharp objects yourself. Take help from your parents or any grown-up. And please do not play with fire. It can be risky, so please be very, very careful. With all that out of the way, now let me quickly walk you through whatever I did until now. Because I wanted to create a budget-friendly kit, I thought of using everything that I already have, and I did not want to buy anything new for this. So I have these empty plastic soda bottles, which I thought could be repurposed because of its design. The rounded top shape of the bottle would make for a good basic blob skeleton. So I cut it up and then tweaked the shape a little bit to see how much of it I could use it for that part. The plastic can be a bit tricky to cut through, so I used a couple of different tools like the scissors and paper knives and also a heated paper knife to get to the harder areas. And then to clean up the edges, I used a bad iron. The heat of the iron shouldn't be that high because it will then start melting the plastic. We just need a little contact so the edges can become blunt. And please do not use a good iron. You can also just tape the edges to remove the sharpness. After that, I covered the top half of the blob with a masking tape, so I have a base over which I can add more stuff to cover it up and then give it a proper shape of the blob. So I covered everything up with masking tape and then used some waste packaging again to make the hands and legs of the blobs. I mean bloobs. To make the hands and the legs, you could also use tin foil or anything that can be scrunched up into little blobs, I guess. Everything has to do with blobs here. So I rolled these crunched up bits of paper with masking tape again to have some form and structure, and then I started positioning them where the hands and the feet, legs would be. I used double-sided tape for that and just stuck all these parts together. Even though it may look easy on video, let me tell you, it wasn't easy at all. And I think Moriah is doing us a favor by making the base blob kit for us and providing all the materials you need to make it your own. So if you can, I would definitely ask you to give it a try and not really go through the pain of creating everything from scratch. But if you really want to do a DIY kind of thing, you can. Upcycling waste is also a very fun craft project idea. So I'm always up for it, but also that it takes an artist a lot of time and effort and also money to come up with something like the Blob Universe kit or any other products they might want their audience or their fans to enjoy. So it's always a good idea to support our artists, especially in the times when we are being invaded by AI stuff. Doing things with your hands is one of the best things you can do, even for your mind, and it's a fun activity to do with your kids, with your partners, with your friends, just anyone. So, after fixing the hands of this blob structure, I thought of making a base from a thin piece of cardboard first. So, I drew the feet or the legs. I don't even know what to call them. And I just measured the circumference of the base and drew a circle around it, and then just extended two little blobs for the feet. And now you can see me just adjusting it to the size and taping it with masking tape. So I cut up one scrunched up paper blob into two to make the feet on either side because I felt like it needed a bit of downsizing. Since these are not original blobs that Moriah provides in her kit, these are smaller, these are bloobs, so I had to adjust according to that. You may also be curious why I did not get the kit myself. It's because I'm not based in the US, so the price with shipping doubles for me overall, and I could not justify that because I'm working on a tight budget right now, so I would if I could. However, I wanted to have some Blob Universe fun myself, so I just wanted to give it a go. But like I've said before, it's always a great idea to support artists' small businesses because they put in a lot of heart in whatever they do. The value you get out of these recreational kits, it has so much more value than just the price. So do give it a try if you can. And before anyone comes after me, I am not marketing for Moriah, it's just my way of showing gratitude because in a way, she has helped me give a direction to my YouTube channel. I started with her create this book too, and that's how the spark in me ignited to make my own content. So thank you, Moriah. Okay, so we digressed a lot and a lot has happened already. Now, after my blob structures are ready, I will be giving them a white cement base so I can add my clay structures on top of it. So what I did was just take 6 or 7 tablespoons of white cement, added some PVA glue, and adjusted the consistency with water to make a thick, pasty clay dough-like thing, and then slathered it on the bloobs. See? I got it right this time. I'm getting the hang of these bloobs, I think. Also, if you're enjoying this video so far, please give it a thumbs up and please subscribe to my channel. It took me a long time to make this video and I really enjoyed it. After coating all the blob structures with this white cement paste, I let them dry overnight and this is how all the 3 blobs turned out. They look so uneven and so rough in their texture. Because everything is handmade here, you have to go with that. So I had to come up with an idea that would complement this rough texture. I also lightly sanded the cement layer and now I'm adding a thin layer of clay to get the maximum level of smoothness I can with this. So I can add other features for these blobs on top of it. This is also my first time working with this type of sculpting air dry clay. And it did test my patience in some places, but I really like how it can be smoothened and joined with a little bit of water. And people who work with clay, you have my respect. It is really tricky to get the hang of it. You guys make it look so easy. It's really not. So, for my bloob creatures, I thought of going with something fantasy inspired, and I also wanted these blobs to be a little functional, so I thought of giving them certain features that could be used as something. So for this blob, I wanted the ears to be like a postcard holder. That's why I created that gap in between. Now I'm working on a cyclops creature, a little cyclops monster, and I wanted to make this into a brush holder, a wet paintbrush holder. So I gave it a big eye and a big mouth, but the mouth was really giving me a hard time because it just wouldn't stay put in the same position. So I stuck the mouth on its face and then blow dried it for a bit so the wet clay could hold its structure and then let it air dry naturally. And I came up with this hack on my own, and it worked in this case, but I'm not sure if it would work on all types of clays because speeding up the drying process of clay can lead to cracks, so I would try it on a smaller area first and then see how it goes. I also measured the mouth with some different sizes of paint brushes and then added some extra features to make it more cute. I'm not sure if I can call this cute, but I added some teeth and let it dry and moved on to the next blob. For this one, I wanted to do something like a ring holder or a jewelry holder, so I gave it horns, and it could be a cross between a duck and something else, I don't know. I just went ahead and added details as I was thinking about it. I did not have a plan for this, but I just enjoyed adding the details. I don't know why, but this also looks like Psyduck to me a little bit. I'm not sure if you see the resemblance, but before I added the ears and the horns, it did look like Psyduck when I added the beak, so just a random thought. And then I added some floral details at the back because I wanted to give all my bloobs a pretty back, a pretty behind. Come on, get your mind out of the gutter. After all the clay features had dried, I thought of sanding it one more time. And I did go behind your back and added a little more details because I don't know, I was obsessed with it. So as you can see, all my creatures are now ready in their final form to be painted on. And I really like how all of this is turning out. And honestly speaking, I did not even think I would come this far. And I'm really proud with what I was able to achieve with so many interruptions. Now, for the eyes, I thought I would be using these googly eyes, so that would be fun. And now comes the fun part, which is to prime it with some homemade gesso, and then I will be painting them in fun colors. So keep on watching because the fun, I mean the real fun, begins now. If you would be interested in knowing the exact recipe of this homemade gesso, I will be putting it down in the description, so make sure you check it. But let me just quickly tell you. I used some talcum powder, added PVA glue and some white paint, and then added water to adjust the consistency to get to a thick consistency like gesso. Then applied it like regular gesso on all these bloobs. Until the gesso layer dried, I thought about the color palette I would go for all these creatures, and I thought of going with extra bright neon colors. I wanted that pop of color in my face. So I used all these neon colors I had. These come in 4 shades, so majorly all my blobs will be of these colors with some accents from different color. So for the first blob, I mixed up this very pretty purple from neon pink and fluorescent blue. And I started painting my first blob. And this is like a dragon inspired creature, but you'll also notice some familiarity with elephants or something else. Okay, so I don't know what I was making. I just liked adding the features, so I added them. I also gave it this cute little bow to make it extra adorable. At first, the uneven texture of these blobs were kind of bothering me, but as everything started coming together, I was enjoying the texture more and more because I felt like it gave it more natural and rugged look that I was going for. I wanted this to be inspired by some fantasy mythical creatures, so they always have these very gorgeous textures on their bodies, and I was glad that I had that base to work on. So for the other features, I thought of going with a very contrasting neon green, and after I painted it with the actual color neon green, I did not like it as much, so I thought of adding a bit of blue to make it like an aqua neon green, and then started painting everything all over. And I love these cute little wings. They add such a unique look to this creature. I don't know what this creature should be called, maybe a dragoon or something. And then I was painting its nose, snout, trunk. What should we call it? So this trunk, because it's protruding outside, I thought of using it as a holder for specs or my glasses. So I'll show that later on. And look at the tiny little claws. I just can't help but notice all these details again as I'm doing the voiceover. I wanted the tiny details to be really noticeable, so I spotted everything with some neon green and then brushed on some extra neon green on the wings and the ears to give it that fantasy-like glow. I don't know if any of you remember that show called Dragon Tales. It was a cartoon show, and this is reminding me of one of the dragons from the show. I think they were conjoined twins, one purple and one green. So if anyone remembers that show, let me know in the comments. I wanted the main body to be a little darker, so I went ahead with a darker shade of purple, so all these elements would have a better contrast. I also added some gradient to the body so it would have an interesting look. And for the bow, I went with a neon pink on the dark purple. And then I was still not done with all the details, so I had these 3D outliners that I had never used, and coincidentally I had them all in neon colors. So I went overboard with this and added these floral patterns and used a butter knife to join the dots like a flower. It was just so much fun. And I am not finished with this bloob yet. I still have one major element to add to this, but before that I have two other bloobs to complete, so let's move on. For the second design, I went with a basic combination of complementary colors, so the base would be blue and the accents would be orange. I'm also trying to add some gradient to the blue here. I just feel like adding gradient adds a bit more character. So I painted everything with blue, using the base color to be fluorescent blue mixed with some white. I wanted that sky blue color, but more like a very bright sky blue. After the base coat of blue was done, I started working on the accents, and like I mentioned, I wanted to go with a complementary color palette for this. So I wanted this very bright fiery orange, so I mixed up some neon orange with some neon yellow to have that really warm orange to go with the sunflower at the back as well. Painting 3D sculptures on camera, especially if you just have one camera and one view, it's really difficult. That's why you see my blobs going out of focus every now and then. I'm really sorry for that. But I just record with my phone, so I have very limited options to change the angles. However, I try to keep everything close to the camera so you could see all the details I was working on. It's a bit tricky to get the full view of a 3D object, but I hope you can see all the details clearly. This bloob sculpture is comparatively simpler than the previous one in terms of details, so I thought of adding some extra pop of color on this also. I went ahead and added some tiny spots or dots with an orange 3D outliner, and I think these dots add so much character to this blob sculpture. I mean bloob sculpture. I'm messing up again. The more details I keep on adding, the more confused I get about what I should call these creatures, so I think I should leave that for you guys. Let me know in the comments what we should call this creature. And now let's move on to the last one. For this, I went with this very, very bright neon green with some neon yellow. And this is the brightest of them all. Oh, does that sound like Snow White? Could it be grass green or something? I don't know. I'm just being weird here. So I covered everything with this very bright neon yellow green. And I went with the same gradient style as I had done for the previous two bloobs. I felt that the color scheme for this blob was so bright that it almost strikes you in the eye, especially when I added this extremely bright neon pink for the beak. It felt a bit odd painting this duck-like creature into this neon green parrot color, but that's the point of fantasy, right? You make things exist that only exist in our imagination. By giving these creatures features, jeepers creepers, bloobs blobs. That's just my mind wandering just anywhere while I'm doing the voiceover. I'm sorry. So where was I? Well, yeah, by giving these creatures some similar features, like I drew from a floral or botanical theme, so they look a little more cohesive, like they belong to the same world or the same universe. However, my only motive is to get into the blob universe, to sneak into the blob universe with my bloobs, and I really hope it happens. But even if it doesn't, I just want all these creatures to feel like they belong somewhere and they have each other's back. Also, for some added contrast, I thought of giving this a polka dot pattern with some white and also painted little stripes on the horns with blue. And I feel like this creature is coming together nicely. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I am a little biased about green because if you've watched me enough, you know that green is my favorite color. So I might be drawn to green more, but I really like all of these creatures. And now comes the part where I add the major element that gives all of these blobs their character, the googly eyes. And before I reveal the final look of all these bloobs and show you how I'm going to be using them as a functional desktop accessory, let me quickly varnish them so I can keep them protected. I'm using a quick drying matte craft varnish. It leaves a little gloss even though it's matte, but I don't mind it. I like the sheen it provides after it dries up. And here I present to you the first bloob. Should we call him Dragoon or something else? Look at the details. I really like how this one turned out. And do you think I can sneak into the bloob universe with this one? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And now meet Cycloops. I'm just trying to make it rhyme with bloobs, so I'm just being silly. You guys let me know what we should call these creatures because I don't have a name for them at the moment. And now we have our third bloob, meet Tricloops. Well, again, I'm being silly, the naming is on you. And no pressure at all, just come up with the silliest names you can think of for these silly little creatures. And let me know your thoughts if you think they can sneak into the blob universe or not. This is how they all look together. Don't they look like a small little adorable family? Now let me quickly show you how I'll be using them as functional desktop accessories. For this creature, I thought of using the ears as a postcard stand, so I can just display something cute or something I would like to see more of. I can keep changing that. This is the wet paintbrush holder. I can slide in the paintbrush like that between its teeth and mouth. And the horns on this green creature can be used as a holder for my little rings or earrings, as I tend to put them here and there so they get misplaced. I also wanted to show you how these bloob creatures would look in natural lighting because all of the previous shots are done indoors, so the color can vary a bit, but I hope you can get an idea how bright they are in the natural lighting. So enjoy the final look of all these blobs. They will be on display for some time now. And if you enjoyed this video, please let me know your thoughts in the comments. Please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to watch other videos on my channel if you enjoy watching art content. It really means a lot to me, and it took me a long time and a lot of effort to make this video. So please show some love. Until then, keep making art. Please enjoy your art and the process, and take care. And just to put some more emphasis on my previous point, this video was only created for fun purposes, nothing more. Please do try Moriah Elizabeth's original Blob Universe kit if you can, because I'm seeing all my artist friends and so many other hobby crafters trying it and leaving really good reviews about it and really enjoying the whole Blob Universe experience. I just wanted to take part in this blob creatures trend and just wanted to have some fun with the materials I had. So just do what you enjoy and what you would like to do. This video is in no way influencing you to not buy the kit. Please don't take it that way. Now, goodbye once more and see you soon.